Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I will be doing a deck tech for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section below. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you have. So if you're interested, please leave a comment and I'll make a video for you. Today, we're revisiting a personal deck of old that I used to have. Yennett, Cryptic Sovereign. This is Odd Sphinxes. So I've talked about on the channel a bunch of times how one of the things I enjoy the most about Commander is utilizing cards that are otherwise unplayable garbage. I like to be able to put those cards in the spotlight and make them good in a particular deck, and Yennett allows you to do that with a lot of different cards. So 5 mana, Esper Colors, Flying, Vigilance, Menace, 3/5. When it attacks, reveal the top card of your library. You may cast it without paying its mana cost if its mana value is odd. If you don't cast it, draw a card. So almost everything we have in this deck is odd, aside from the mana rocks. There is a fairly large Sphinx package, so in addition to being odd stuff, it's also Sphinxes. Obviously, you can scale this deck up very easily and start adding things like Void Winnower, which would go crazy in a deck like this, but I wanted this to just be a casual bracket to have fun deck. The majority of the price that you're looking at, that 338 point, is coming from your land base. And we've talked about this a bunch of times, but when it comes to your land base, just do your best. This stuff is not necessary. I just put together what I would consider to be a very playable, respectable land base, but obviously you don't need a $50 Urborg, and that, brings the budget down significantly. So take a look at this. This represents most of the cost, and if you can't afford the lands, just put in your basics, your command towers, exotic orchard, things like that. You'll just be fine. That being said, again, we'll start with the Planeswalkers. This is an odd slash Sphinx theme. We have Anamatu the Fate Shifter. A lot of the cards that we're playing here, especially these Planeswalkers, allowing us to scry, surveil, and then kind of put stuff from our hand back on top, is all in an effort to put a high-costed odd card on top, so that way we can attack with Yennett and utilize its ability to cast those spells for free. So there are a ton of Sphinxes. This deck is not playing Consecrated Sphinx. This deck is not playing Void Winnower. There's a lot of 6-cost Sphinxes that are very, very good that I did not put in here. Again, I'm really trying to stick true to the theme. I'm not going to go over each one, but I wanted to make sure the ones I did play were respectable in what they accomplished. So a lot of them are going to get you card advantage in some form or another, whether it be casting stuff from other people, drawing cards, cascading, putting stun counters, drawing cards, searching your library. Magister Sphinx is probably the scariest one, coming down and just putting someone's life total to 10. Make sure that when you do this, you understand that that person's going to target you for the rest of the game. Master Predicaments, Prognostic Sphinx, more scry, connive, draw, casting stuff. Sephara, I would say, is the notable exception to the Sphinx rule, and that's just because it can give our creatures with flying indestructible, which is very powerful in this deck. And then just more of the Sphinx. I was about to say more of the Sphinx. More of the same. A lot of creatures that are attempting to give you some form of advantage. The one thing I would say with this deck is once your commander's out, you absolutely have to protect it. If your commander dies, you are going to be stuck with a lot of 5 and 7 mana Sphinxes in your hand and lose the game very quickly. So ramp your way to your commander as fast as you can, and then do everything you can to protect it, and then just get paid off in dividends with all these Sphinxes. Sorceries, so we have 2 board wipes. Raise the Palisade. Obviously you're going to name Sphinxes and then return all non-Sphinxes. Extinction Event, an amazing board wipe in a deck like this, but traditionally not in most decks. Being able to just say even and killing literally every even cost creature on the board, but quite literally nothing of yours dies, is cool. Mystic Speculation is a good way for you to utilize mana in the mid to late game that's in excess, and it allows you to scry and make sure that you are getting a odd costed card that you want to cast on top. Same with Preordain, but obviously that's a one-shot effect. Instance, when you look at removal, we have Anguished Unmaking, Path to Exile, Void Rend, and Swords to Plowshares. So a very good removal package, and all of it is obviously even costed. Brainstorm, again, to put stuff on top that we want to cast for free. Dark Ritual as a one-shot to get your commander out sooner. Limdal's Vault is not odd, but it is a way for you to stack your deck so that you can get something you want casted. Mystic Confluence, a counter spell, but at the same time has a ton of other utility. So even if you get this off the top and you're not in the mood to counter something, there's not something on the stack, you can just draw 3 cards, you can just bounce creatures. It's still a great thing to hit. Render Silent and Dovin's Veto are both great ways for you to protect Yennett, and that's really all you should be doing with these kind of counter spells. The only other thing I would look to stop is something that just wins the game on the spot. Artifacts, we do have 10 ramp pieces, so Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, Dimir Signet, Felwar Stone, Orzhov, Soul Rain, Thought Vessel, Talisman, Talisman, Talisman. So 10 up, 10 down. As always, as I say in my videos, try to be around that 10 mark when you're looking at building a consistent mana base and consistent ramp package, so that way you just get to play a better game every single time. You could consider putting in the 3 mana ramp pieces to hit with Yennett. I don't see that as necessary, 1, and 2, realistically, the sooner you can get out your ramp, the better. Hitting a 3 mana rock off Yennett really isn't going to get you anywhere. You really want to make sure your Yennett triggers are getting a 5 or a 7 cost Sphinx into play. Other than that, we do have some protection. Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, Mithril's Coat are all ways for you to make sure that Yennett stays safe. And then we also have interaction with Sphinxes like Herald's Horn, Urza's Incubator, and Vanquisher's Banner, all odd costed, all making our Sphinxes either cheaper, stronger, or drawing us cards when they hit the battlefield. In addition to that, you have Scroll Rack and Sensei's Divining Top. These are probably the best cards in the deck as far as filtering the top of your library and making sure what's on top is going to get casted, it's going to be odd, and it's going to be 5 or 7 mana and be really impactful and positive for you. Scroll Rack is the better of the two, because if you are stuck with those cards in your hand, Scroll Rack allows you to put them back on top, which aside from Brainstorm, not a lot of cards do. Enchantments, Aqueous Form, simple and effective way to make sure Yennett gets through. It already has Flying and Menace, so it's probably going to anyway, but it has the added benefit of allowing you to scry when you attack to, again, get you in better position to make sure the top of your library is good for you. Ghostly Prison and Propaganda are great ways to buy you time in the early game. This is a heavy mana cost deck, so it's important that you stay safe early. You do not make an enemy of yourself. Let your opponents fight each other while you build up. Prisoned in the Moon is one of the best removal spells in Commander. I've mentioned this before on different videos, but being able to put this on someone's commander so that way they simply can't just put it back in the command zone and then recast it when it gets Swords to Plowshares or something of the like is extremely powerful and always going to be a better option for you than simply just destroying a commander. Penance is a cool way to prevent damage from black and red. That's kind of not really the point of the deck. It's more important that you're able to just choose a card and put it back on top. So again, if you're stuck with that 7 mana Sphinx, put it back on top of your library and then get it out for free with Yennett. Finally, Soothsaying, a super interesting card. You basically pay X and you look at the top X and rearrange it. So it's kind of like a Sensei's Divining Top, but obviously much cheaper as far as cost. And again, another card that doesn't see play really anywhere else, but really gets to shine in a deck like this. So super quick video. If you're interested in having a oddly good time with some Sphinxes, again, this deck's probably coming in at around like $150 if you just trim the mana base. but I've played it before. I used to own it. It was a lot of fun. If you're interested, give it a try. As always, thank you so much for watching, and Godspeed.